Mama said I should stop acting weird. I'm being too loud, it's just me and my depression beard. Who are you now? More is less and less, the less appears. Feeling chewed up, but I guess I got some ends to share.
This road is a lot of straightaways between corners, so at some point I started naming the corners, give myself something to focus on, keep my attention, and remind me of what's coming up ahead. So this first set of two corners, two right-handers, I call the drop-in. First is a downhill right, and there's a short straightaway that's got a blind driveway, and then another right-hander that crests at the apex. You gotta watch out for that. It rained really heavily last night, so I'm just chilling out, making sure I don't run over any gravel patches. Here's the crest in the middle of the corner. The next two left-handers I call church, because you take a left and then Catholic Church Road intersection and then another left. The only thing significant about the first church corner is that it's got bumps on the right side of the road right before you turn in. So you kind of approach from the middle. Second church corner is just a little kink, but then you go down a short straight. And this right-hander I call llama or alpaca, because there used to be a little pen that had alpacas in it sometimes. It's a quick banked right-hander. No more alpacas. And this straightaway leads us to Milner. A long, tight left-hander. Tightest corner on this stretch of road. It undulates throughout the corner, and it's got an intersection in it, so you have to be careful of vehicles turning left as you come around the blind part. This corner is called Mailbox because you apex at this mailbox. There's a small bump and then a big bump on the exit. So here's a small bump, and here's the big bump. And this quick left, just called Forest. And then we hit up Mailbox 2. Very important to remember when this corner's coming up because it's got a huge bump on the entry. And then another Mailbox Apex. Then it's up the road to Fallout. I call it Fallout because the road cambers out at the exit. It also narrows, so if you mess up the entry to this corner, there's a good chance you're going off the road. And then we have Mount Pleasant. This is Mount Pleasant Road. Not actually a mountain, but you have this tiny little left, and then you go over this crest that I've named Mount Pleasant. And then a slightly tighter left-hand kink, and long crest. Kind of chilling out, looking for animals in this tunnel of trees. The second forest corner, not much to think about when you're going reasonable speeds. Then we come up to Murray. Murray is a tight right-hander. The surface changes twice. It's often got a lot of gravel in it. Tight right-handers around here tend to have gravel in them from trailers cutting the corners. Surface change. No gravel today, another surface change. And we're out. This is a uphill left-hander that I call the jumper. You don't actually jump or anything in it, but there's bushes out on the right side. There used to be this lady that was always out on Sunday trimming these bushes. And when we came by, she would jump up and down and wave her arms. These grooves in the middle of the lane here have been here since they resurfaced this road. Like the day after, they were already there. I don't know what caused them, but they grab bike tires and make you wiggle around. Pretty dangerous. Check for traffic around the trees and go. Always gravel in the intersection here. This road's got a really bad surface. And blind driveways. And people who don't look before they pull their lawnmowers out. And then in this valley right here, there's a huge bump that goes across the road. A huge bump. Right here. Weather's taking a turn. Coming up, we're going to have a right-hander that goes into a left and then a left-right that all tighten as you go. I call this left-hander coming up Beamer because once I spun my BMW in the rain right through this corner, just spun, was going sideways down here, but then this tight left, and then it's super tight and often very, very dirty right-hander, all full of asphalt rocks. And as you come over this crest, the road is damaged in the middle of the lane. And then this super decreasing radius. Real slippery. I call this intersection sneaky because it sneaks up on you because you got to turn in really early because of where the gravel always is in it. This long double apex left I call spoon. The second apex is a lot tighter than the first and a lot shorter. It can really catch you out. So you go out here, stay out, go back in. Still, the game area is on my left here still, so definitely animal problems. And then we've got a set of 3 right-left combo corners. This first one I call heavy. What I do is I stay out wide. And then you gotta transition like this so your steering's heavy. Using grip for the transition. That's why I call it heavy. And the next one's light. Same kind of corner. Long right, quick left. Except there's a short transition period between them so your steering doesn't get as heavy. Straight, then turn. And this one I call Manx. You don't really have to set up for the left-hander because the straightaway kind of dumps you into it like that. Oh, the dirt. And then this is the tightest corner of this section. Uphill left. And you're out onto the straightaway. You're kind of about to come into town here, so it's better to cool off. Call this intersection the bailout. I don't think there's a good reason to explain why we call it that. But you can hit a highway to the right. This tight left-hander I'm coming up to, we call the split for obvious reasons. Sometimes got a lot of debris in it from the intersection. Just a little today. This long right-hander often has gravel on the entry, people cutting it, but it tightens. It just kind of holds tight and winds back out. This corner coming up I call Alpine. One time I came out on the first nice day of the year on a bike. There was still snow in yards and stuff, but the temperatures and the roads were nice. But I came around this, and it's sometimes blind, sometimes not, depending on the crops on the right. It's like a double apex corner here, and then there was just snow straight across the road here. And then this is just Alpine B. You gotta watch out for horse and buggies here. All around this area, but very particularly around this part, because there's a lot of Amish in this area. Fortunately, they are required to have taillights on their vehicles, presumably powered by a generator on the axle or something. And they also have the reflective triangles that you would see on a tractor. Lots of deer in this section. You only tend to see the Amish in the morning. They like to get back home well before sunset, it seems. They also know what to do about traffic. They're not dumb. They just don't like technology. It is interesting, sometimes you'll see them in town and they know people around here. So you'll see two people chatting at a gas station, like two ladies chatting at a gas station, and one of them's wearing like a sweatshirt and jeans and a baseball cap, and the other one's in very old school black dress with that that woman's hat that's like it's got like a dome, half dome pointed forward, and they're just chatting because they're old friends. Anachronism is what that's called. This is the bridge over nothing, because no matter what you say, you can't convince me that there's anything that goes under this bridge. This corner section is called Sketch because there's so many things that make it seem strange. There's a buggy crossing sign, but you go right and then it turns left over a crest, so if you're going super fast, it'd be pretty scary. And then it drops down, and then this corner is banked on entry but off camber on exit, which is just the worst possible way to do it. So you want to stay tight and let the off camber part pull you out. This is called the Dollhouse. It's good for when you're talking to people about where you are, where you're going out here. Everybody recognizes the Dollhouse. It's on the main road, and I mean, it's just so recognizable. And these two tight corners, a tight right and then a tight left coming up, I call gravel pit. Remind myself that though they look like very fun corners, they are often full of gravel. It used to be they always had gravel in them, always. But lately it hasn't been. It's kind of even more dangerous because now I look for it instead of just assume it's there. There's a little bit on the exit, but nothing significant. This one's not usually as bad because if there's gravel in the corner, it's going to be on the inside lane. The one thing is, on the exit of the corner, there's a little trail that animals use to cross the road, so right as you're exiting, you can get a turkey or a rabbit or something run right across in front of you. Right here. Then we come up on the town of Fitchburg. Much going on in Fitchburg except this little tree farm. There's one here and there's one a little way up the road. Sometimes on the left here you'll see a couple of horses, one of them normal horse and one of them a mini horse, follow each other around. It's the other tree farm. Looks like a little too much rain for that field. This is a lot about how small your town is when the traffic light is just there to illuminate the intersection. Speed limit goes back up as we exit town, and the road is super bumpy. Especially this set of crests. Oh. My tailbone is bruised, so that stuff is killing me. It's tempting to accelerate down this straight really hard, but there's a dip in the road right here that could really throw you off on a bike especially. Getting wheel spin from a short dip like that is the worst, because your wheel spins so you let off, but then immediately your wheel hits the upside of the dip, catches grip right as you let off. So it's an automatic overcorrection. Overcorrecting on a bike is one of the worst things you can do. It's often better to not correct at all than it is to make a slight overcorrection. This corner I call early because you got to turn in so much more early than you think. It's blind, so you kind of want to hang out, but because it opens up as soon as it apexes, it's basically a straightaway again. You still want to turn in early. This left-hander I call homie, because the dude that lives in the house on the inside of the corner and watches up the road for people coming before he backs out, therefore he's a homie. It's kind of overgrown now, but just a dangerous place to have a couple of driveways. Not the best set of corners on in the whole area. Slot right, brake, gravel. Flick. Bump on the exit after it straightens out right here. It's getting worse. This corner up, coming up, banks sort of in the middle to exit. It's a super tight corner, but you got a lot of grip. And then the tightest corner of the whole trip is this last one right here. It's flat, tight, a little longer, and bumpy. Sometimes that's gravel in it. It's everything you want for a very last corner. Oh man, that bump is bad. Definitely don't want to go all the way to the limit in that corner unless you really know where that bump is. And then you just got to look out for little tiny potholes and stuff on this road, and the run is done.